Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, just a reminder, except for the people on the dais and myself actively speaking, please keep your mask on at all times. And everyone, please remember to mute or silence your cell phone. Again, good afternoon. My name is Matthew White. I'm the Director of University Relations. And on behalf of our visionary president, Dr. William R. Harvey, who is celebrating his 44th year of presidency here at Hampton, I would like to take this time to formally welcome our guests here to our home by the sea on what is truly a historic day. Hampton University is known for many firsts, and today we add another to that list, as we are here to announce Hampton University is the first HBCU to join the CAA. I know it is an honor for myself to do this introduction, and we're going to start things off first with our commissioner, Mr. Joseph F.D. Antonio, Esquire, as well as our athletic director, Mr. Eugene Marshall, Jr. In his 5th year as commissioner, Mr. D'Antonio has become just the second person to serve as commissioner in the 35-year history of the CAA. During his tenure, 3 conference teams have captured national championships and has worked closely with the league's presidents and athletic administrators to achieve a high level of success athletically with the educational framework of each institution. Mr. D'Antonio is among the most visible commissioners in the nation and enjoys interacting with student athletes, coaches, and fans on our campuses. His practice with the Commissioner Initiative, in which he participates in on-campus workouts with each CAA championship team, has become extremely popular. Under Mr. D'Antonio's leadership, the CAA has entered a 4-year, 7-figure annual partnership with Flow Sports to provide live on-demand coverage for the league's 22 sports. More than 300 live events will be broadcasted on Flow Sports each year. The CAA has also expanded its relationship with CBS Sports Network that has resulted in 11 regular season men's basketball games being televised during the 2019-20 season, in addition to the semifinals and the finals of the CAA Men's Basketball Championship. Mr. Eugene Marshall is our Director of Athletics and the Chief Athletic Officer responsible for the day-to-day management, administration, and operations of Hampton University's 17 athletic programs, 350 student athletes, so on. Also with direct oversight on areas that include club sports, intramurals, recreational activities, business, finance, marketing, promotions, and the Hampton Convocation Center. Mr. Marshall is in his 8th year at Hampton University, 34th year as a senior athletic administrator, 37 years in intercollegiate athletics, and at this time, I turn it over to our commissioner.
Well, thank you, Matt. I certainly appreciate that introduction. Pleasure to be with you today, and a pleasure to be with all of you folks. I'm going to alert everyone up front. I grew up about 20 miles south of Boston. They tell me that I still have just a slight accent. So if I happen to say car or yard, and you might not understand what I'm saying, I appreciate your patience as we go through the day today. So good morning and good afternoon. Dr. Harvey, Gene, members of the media, coaches, student athletes, and members of the Hampton University community, it is truly a great day to be a pirate. On behalf of CAA, thank you. On behalf of CAA Board of Director Chair and Drexel President John Fry, as well as all CAA presidents, chancellors, and athletic directors, it's an honor to be here today to welcome Hampton University to the Colonial Athletic Association. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Harvey and to Gene for their efforts in helping to make today a reality. Over 15 months ago, the CAA began a planning process that was focused on its future success. Specifically, was its desire to find a more sustainable and competitive model for institutions that comprise the membership of the conference that would position the CAA as one of the premier FCS conferences in the country. This sustainable and competitive model was built upon the following foundations and priorities. Number one, a student-athlete first focus that emphasizes the significant value of higher education. Number 2, financial sustainability. Number 3, commitment by each institution in the conference to elevate the competitiveness of its men's and women's basketball programs on a national level, as well as elevate each institution's overall investment in all of their other sports and the competitiveness of those programs. Number 4, maintaining the CAA football conference as one of the premier FCS conferences in the country. And number 5, active presidential and chancellor involvement and leadership. And I can't say enough today about the role that all of our presidents and chancellors have played in this initiative. The process was driven with a determined focus on the conference's newly formed vision statement. And a special public thank you goes out to William and Mary President Catherine Rowe and Elon President Dr. Connie Book for their work on our new vision statement. And that vision statement reads, CAA institutions work together to advance nationally competitive college athletic programs, coupled with outstanding academic programs that empower student athletes as whole persons to strive at the highest level in every aspect of their lives. Our athletic fields, arenas, tracks, courts, pitches, pools, and gyms are valued learning spaces, and our coaches are inspiring teachers and mentors. We champion a new collegiate model of Division I athletics, embracing transformation that advances our core commitments of 1, academic excellence, 2, inclusive excellence, 3, student-athlete well-being, 4, competing at a championship level, and 5, sustainability. In its newly formed partnership with Hampton University, the CAA welcomes one of the most prestigious institutions in the world and knows that Hampton fully embodies and embraces the vision and core commitments of the CAA. Today, the CAA, along with Hampton University, Monmouth University, and Stony Brook University, embark on a new beginning. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose statue sits among those of many other great leaders on the Hampton campus in Legacy Park, once said, "Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase." Intercollegiate athletics, as we know it, is embroiled in a time of significant challenges and impending changes. As the winds of change continue to swirl, through its newly formed partnership, Hampton University and the CAA have together not only taken the first step, but have taken a gigantic leap in properly positioning themselves for future success and longevity. In closing, I'd like to take a minute to recognize and applaud Hampton President Dr. William Harvey on an illustrious career. Your 44 years as president of Hampton University have been transformative, and your incredible vision and leadership have cemented your legacy for generations to come. I am truly honored to be here today with you to celebrate this special day in the history of your home by the sea. Thank you again for the opportunity to say a few words, and go Pirates!
Mr. Marshall.
Well, on behalf of our president, Dr. William R. Harvey, the administrative council, our athletic staff, but most of all, the student athletes. I'm not going to leave out the coaches, but I'm going to talk to the student athletes first. You're the reason that we're making this move. You have shown hard work, dedication, and commitment, and the ability to continue to rise as you've rose through Hampton, as you go on to your careers, but this is to put each and every one of you in a position to be successful. I want to thank the coaching staffs, head coaches, assistant coaches, and support staff for their efforts in making this happen. If you didn't do the job on the field, the court, the track, the pool, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation. It's easy for me to go out with Dr. Harvey's approval to look at conference opportunities, but I got to have something behind me. And that's why I want to thank each and every one of you in this room for what you have done to make my job easier to talk about Hampton University. One of the things that I want to talk about also is people are going to ask the question, well, the conference goes from Maine down to South Carolina. Well, we're still going to be a regional institution. We're still going to compete heavily in the southern region. We will have some crossovers. But why the CAA? We have a lot of alumni and future Hampton students in the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts. We have alumni distinguished in the state of Connecticut, and we recruit from there. We have a lot of alumni in New York, New Jersey, especially out on the island, Philadelphia, the DMV, the North Carolina area, when you talk about Charlotte and Raleigh, going all the way down to Myrtle Beach. So we will not only have East Coast alumni support, but we will have the opportunity to build leaders and champions from a pool that will go from at least Boston down to South Carolina. So to me, it's a win-win. Now, I will take a plug for my alma mater. We'll be competing against Northeastern University up in Boston. So I do have some fond feelings there. But in a business decision, we have the coaches, we have the student athletes. This will help us from alumni perspective. But more importantly, we have the support. And I know some of our university leadership team is not here, but I want to go out of my way and thank them because they're the team behind the team. Dr. Inman is here, Vice President for Administrative Services. They make things happen. All this stuff that we do on a regular basis, and especially with COVID, does not happen overnight. But with the support and the leadership of Dr. Inman, we've been able to put our teams safe and healthy on the field of competition. And we've been able to set an example for other conferences and universities on how to manage COVID. So you need to see the team behind the team. We also have a lot of our sponsors here, which I want to thank for what they've done. Our alumni, the Booster Club, Hampton Nation, I want to thank you because without your support, this move wouldn't happen. And I'll just close by saying, and the commissioner already said it's a great day to be a Pirate. Well, effective July 1, it'll be a great day to be a member of the Colonial Athletic Association. Thank you.
At this time, we'll open up to any questions from the assembled press. Marty? The question was, could the commissioner speak to what bringing a HBCU means to the CAA?
Well, it's a true honor to bring an HBCU school into the CAA, but I look at it on a much grander scale than that. It's a true honor to bring an institution with the academic and athletic reputation like Hampton into the conference. What Dr. Harvey and his team have accomplished over the last 44 years here at Hampton is nothing short of extraordinary. From the endowment, to the class offerings, to the national reputation, to what it's done for its students, is second to none. And that's what resonates most with me today. Just the impact that this institution has had on so many young men and women under Dr. Harvey's leadership, and to think that they're now a member of the CAA is something really special.
Any other questions from the media? Stephen?
Well, this is the conference we want to be in, but I'm the type of person, I don't close the door, open the door on anything. God leads the way. You know, I came down here with a charge to try to better our conference, and it led us to a stopover at the Big South, which I will say we had a great relationship in the Big South. It was great competition, great fellowship, but an opportunity came up for us to be in the CAA. This is where we want to be, but I can't speak for the future.
Any other questions? Marty? The question was, how did Hampton and the CAA come together? And go ahead, Mr. Commissioner.
So these are big decisions. These are not decisions that happen overnight. And as you heard in my opening comments, this has been a discussion amongst our leadership for well over the past 15 months. And I think anytime you enter into decisions like these, I used a term earlier in an interview that I did, it's really a totality of the circumstances analysis that gets you to the final end result. Excuse me. That being said, as it looked to expand its membership, the CAA was focused on a few things that were very important to it in terms of looking at potential new members. One was there needed to be a geographical fit. We're fortunate enough to know that that geographical fit could occur in the northern area or potentially in the mid-Atlantic area. Number two, we were intentional that any institutions that we were going to be talking to had to have a strong academic background and reputation. Just by the way, I've answered some of the questions earlier here today. There is no question in my mind that Hampton University is one of those institutions. And then finally, we focused on institutions that were committed to investing in their student athletes and the future success of their athletic programs. And I know in my conversations with both Dr. Harvey and with Gene that Hampton is well positioned in that area as well. So that's really what the match between the CAA and Hampton, where it comes from. The analysis of Stony Brook, candidly, was really no different. You are correct that they are currently a member of the conference in football, and certainly our familiarity with that institution was maybe a little greater than some of the institutions that we had spoken with. But at the end of the day, I should say, the analysis was the same and focusing primarily on those three factors as we tried to move things forward.
Any additional questions from the media? All right, well, we thank you for your attendance here today. We'll have one-on-one opportunities here for the media at the backdrop here behind me. And once again, thank you for joining us here today as Hampton, July 1, joins the